Now, do you guys think, we have to at least ask, is this lipstick on a turd? Like, based off of the rumors we've been hearing about this movie, did they just bring in a trailer editor to polish this footage in a way that would get us excited to go see the movie? When we see the movie, we're going to be like...
Welcome back to the break room, everybody. Disney did not disappoint us at D23 Brazil. Our Portuguese-speaking south of the equator friends got treated to some very nice trailers. And bless their hearts, they shared them to us, shared them with us in English as well. We got 3 nice, juicy Marvel trailers over the weekend. We're going to react to all of them. Yeah. They're being broken down for the new Rockstars channel coming soon. But right here, right now, we want to play them, talk about them, react to them, and answer your questions about them. But before we even get to those trailers, there's some other news.
Yeah.
Coming out of D23 Brazil, we got some Star Wars news.
Star Wars stuff, yeah. So it's a little bit of a headlines episode, but it's also an opportunity to do a little bit of a trailer trawl.
Hit that graphic. We will be trawling those trailers. I'm Zach Huddleston, thrilled to be here on a Monday. Thrilled to be joined, to my right and my left, Mr. Erik Voss is here.
Hi, everybody. Excited for my first trailer trawl. Oh, man. We got to do this a second time. Yeah. This is awesome. This is great.
Would you label yourself as a trailer trawl troll?
Oh, no, I would never troll a trailer trawl. I'm a trailer trawl tractor, baby.
Yeah. And the third of the trailer trawl triumvirate, Evan Yee's here as well.
Wow. I feel like I should have just had a big net, and in that net, just like a bunch of like VHS tapes or something. I don't know. Physical Easter eggs. I don't know.
Yes.
Next time.
And Evan is monitoring the chats here from the table, so he will be seeing your comments, your questions. We're gonna try to answer as many as possible. Try to have them pertain to the trailer that we are watching currently, and it'll be more likely we get to it. But there's a lot to talk about all 3 of these. First, though, we want to talk a little Star Wars. We don't have a Star Wars trailer. We did get some confirmation on Andor Season 2, which we knew was in the works, but we did not know when it was coming out. I think there'd been rumors about early 2025.
Yeah.
But that was confirmed to be April 22nd, 2025 is when we're getting that. So almost exactly when Daredevil ends, right?
Yes, close to the end.
Yeah, or maybe there's like a 1-week overlap or something like that. But nice. We were going to have a nice long stretch of fun Disney Plus shows. It was also confirmed to be 12 episodes like the first season. And it has this fun kind of structural gimmick where every 3 episodes will be a year in Cassian Andor's life, which the first season, right, had kind of capsule within, right? Like, were they 3 or 4 episode sections?
Yeah, we had the first 3 episodes were centered around Ferrix, and I believe the second 3 episodes were the Aldani arc, where you had Ebnos Bakrak, and you had the Manifesto guy, and the Eye of Aldani, and that amazing sequence. And then we went to the Narkina 5.
Yes, the prison camp.
Yeah, and I believe there might have been 4 episodes there, right? Because I think the breakout episode was the 4th of that. Yeah, but it really did feel like they grouped it together. So this is just how Tony Gilroy wanted to structure the season, and I think it's gonna be really great. I think we're gonna just have these kind of miniature arcs. And we're going to be spending so much of the year just in Andor season. I think people forget, like, we're so used to these like 6-episode arcs. Even Agatha All Along was 9 episodes,
but only 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was only 6 or 7 weeks. So we're going to be spending a lot of time, unless they release multiple episodes at the same time. They might do that, but it's gonna be like hot Andor summer. I think we're going deep into. It's gonna be great.
Let's go. And that first season. Beloved, I mean, 100% approval rate here at New Rockstars. We all loved that season. The fans, the ratings, the whatever were not commensurate with like the Mando seasons and Ahsoka and Kenobi and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that, knowing that the second season's coming up, if you did not watch the first season, get into it now. Baby. Yeah. Start, or maybe wait like March and then start binging so that you're ready to roll it right into it. One of the coolest things Star Wars has done in the Disney Plus era, if not the coolest, right?
And I think, honestly, rewatching it will hit differently next year.
Yeah,
right
next
now,
year,
and going into next year.
Yeah.
Luthen Rael's speech of having to fight the ghosts of your enemies.
Oh,
You know,
my
like,
God.
losing sleep for a sunrise you may never see. Like that is, it's just gonna hit differently. We're all gonna need that kind of encouragement. I think
there were 5 scenes in that show that are like I can picture completely that have stuck with me, even though that was 2022.
Yeah, it was late 2022.
Yeah, I mean that moment you just referenced. I mean all of the Andy Serkis, and then especially the way that arc ends.
Yeah,
oh
I mean it's
my
incredible.
God, I mean, ooh.
Yeah.
It's a story about people who put everything on the line so that other people can escape. You know, Kino Loy knew he couldn't swim and still told everyone to climb and fight. And I think that is such an important thing that, like, sometimes the fights we have to fight aren't for our own benefit. It's for everyone else's benefit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's also, and it goes hand in hand with Rogue One too, in that sense as well. I feel like, but also just expanding on those themes in such a more cohesive and like better way. Some absolutely great stuff. We also got new pictures of Skeleton Crew there. Audiences were treated to a exclusive trailer. Dashiell pointed something out. Let's look at those Skeleton Crew pictures. It's fun to see Neil. Every time we see Neil, the kind of like elephant guy on the right, it's fun to see him pop up. Dashiell was like, hey, is he CGI? And I was like, oh, that's a great question. I don't know if he's fully CGI. So he is, StarWars.com confirmed, he is a combination of facial motion capture, a suit performer, and an animatronic puppeteer.
Wow.
Sounds a little hat on a hat,
There's
but
a lot going on. Yeah.
it does seem very fun.
See, I think what it is Neil is middle-aged, but they de-age him digitally.
Yes, there we go. I think that
Robert Zemeckis and his whole Here team got onto Neil, and I mean, either way, he looks great. I will say he looks. It's like that nice thing of like he looks practical without seeming like too styrofoamy. So kudos to him. We're all excited for Neil to be Grogu of 2024.
I know he's gonna be Hot Neil Winter. I mean, look, this little fucker is more real to me than any other Star Wars character in the past few years. He's got combed hair.
He's got
a part. He has a part
in
his weird little hair. We're very, and you know, all the things we just said about Andor, probably none of them will apply in the same way to Skeleton Crew, but it can be just as wonderful in a completely different way.
That's right.
As Andor, right? I don't anticipate Skeleton Crew being a movie that or a show that challenges my perceptions of what of the world or how humans interact. But I really hope it's a 100% delight and like a nice like Amblin style adventure, right?
Yeah. I mean, so this is a great question for the comments or for people in the chat now. If you didn't watch Andor season 1, are you going to watch Skeleton Crew? Right? We talk a lot about like what's the general hype meter on the show, and Star Wars stuff has been very interestingly received the last couple months, years. So
Are you a Star Wars completionist? One rung down, you dip in and out. Maybe you catch this series, but you miss that one.
Yeah.
Or like you barely watch any, right? And like it takes a lot for you to commit to a Star Wars series.
Yes.
Like, which of those 3 do you think you fall into? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to excited to hear everyone's responses as we get into it. Before we move on to Marvel stuff, I want to shout out a quick super chat some super chats that we got. It's Erlin saying, as someone who's into education to become an education journalist, I love New Rockstars so much. Thanks
so
Erlin.
much.
Thanks.
We appreciate you.
Jeremiah Torres asking, and totally forgot to cover this, how pumped are you guys for Fantastic Four First Steps? I know you're not, it doesn't have anything to do with the news we're talking about right now, but I am excited for 2025 is what they're saying. Fantastic Four First Steps, they showed some footage, right? There's been a lot of pictures online, very similar to some of the stuff that you saw at Comic-Con, right? Similar to it?
Yeah, it's almost the same trailer, but with maybe like 15 seconds more footage that seems like new stuff that they shot, and really perfectly blended it into what was already there, so it feels like it's its own trailer. It's still all vibes. Like, they aren't really confirming much, and still, it is my highest anticipated film of 2025. Yes. Like, it's just, I think they're gonna nail this. I'm really hoping they do.
It also feels like, maybe with the exception of Superman, the biggest swing of 2025, right? Like, like you said, we don't know. It's vibes right now, and so it's like, I mean, there's a broad range of what that movie could feel like and look like and include, right?
Yeah.
And for the MCU, feels like it has a, compared to other franchises, maybe like there's a house style. Feels like this movie could kind of break with that house style in some ways.
I think they're doing, they're resetting it. Like, I think they're showing what the multiverse saga really could be. Because I think the problem with the multiverse saga is there's been no specific vision to kind of anchor that in anything other than maybe the Loki series. Other than that, it's just been cameos from Elseworld universes of the past and nostalgia porn and member berries. Fantastic Four First Steps, I think we need to show a fully realized universe and what the MCU could have been had the rights issues just been different. And I think they're going to kind of show people what it felt like to be a Marvel Comics reader in the 60s, because that was just a very different vibe than I think the way the MCU started. The MCU kind of started with like almost an Ultimates feel. Like Kevin Feige was just like going off what the popular comics were in the aughts, and he wanted to build up to like Civil War. And so there wasn't that kind of sense of, it was like a grounded kind of war on terror commentary, and like the espionage state commentary. There's another way the Marvel world could have unfolded, and I think that's what Fantastic Four First Steps is going for.
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah, I'm incredibly hyped. July 2025 is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
Hot and summer.
And then you'll go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into these trailers that need trawling. Truly, they need trawling. Let's kick things off. We got a new Captain America Brave New World trailer. Let's not say anything until we watch this bad boy.
Let's do it.
Dude, and I love that everyone's been talking about this shot because it does rightfully look sick,
Yeah.
And it's not a Marvel trailer unless a mode of transportation gets sawed in half, baby.
You have to. You gotta see it.
So now, a lot of those beats, maybe not the exact shots or scenes we've seen before, right? We've seen Tim Blake Nelson's the leader in shadow talking in a creepy way, right? We've seen a little bit of that White House footage. We had seen glimpses of Red Hulk before, right? But put together with a lot of stuff we haven't seen. Is that the first Giancarlo we've seen in one of these trailers?
We saw him in past trailers just because that footage was shot like earlier this year. It's very recent, and they cut him into the July trailer. But there's a bit more, and we hear him now. Captain America caught without his wings. We do see more of Red Hulk in this, and this shot confirms that he does radiate heat, which is an important detail. Red Hulk can radiate heat in a way that normal Hulk cannot. The angrier he gets, the more fiery he gets. It's not like he can manipulate fire, but he just gets more fiery, explosive.
We're to assume that all that debris and smoke and fire, he created that by transforming.
Yeah, he kind of explodes into a fireball, and he can just touch stuff and blow it up, and it's just very, very dangerous. It's almost like the way Hulk is kind of a rage monster. If you just drop him into a scenario, you can kind of amplify that by 10 and you get Red Hulk. So it makes us wonder why Sam thinks he can go up against him.
Yeah.
What is Sam on? Did he finally take the super soldier serum? Or is that going to be a temptation that he fights in this movie as he just wants to be true to himself? I assume he's going to get an adamantium version of those wings, right?
Oh.
That's the only... He starts with a vibranium suit. The only upgrade he could get from that is adamantium.
Something capable of cutting cars in half with very low effort, right? Yeah.
Diamonds.
Diamond wings. Well, also, we kind of mentioned it as it was happening, but this trailer introduces all these kind of split screen elements. And that made me immediately think of a couple things. Comic book panels. But the way it was used was not that comic booky. It was much more purposeful. It kind of brought to mind maybe video surveillance TVs or, there's something there. They're clearly trying to communicate even the shot where it's half Harrison Ford and half Anthony Mackie, right, split down the middle, things are not what they seem. It kind of also hints at what are you not seeing in the rest of that frame? What's in the shadows? What's unclear, right? We know this is going to have kind of a Winter Soldier, lots of espionage and backstabbings and whatever is going on beneath the surface. So I like that kind of slow, creepy. It also just has a very paranoid energy to the trailer overall, and especially those kind of edits.
I mean,
right?
it's a much darker tone than we've seen so far, and that kind of split thing to like, this is not what it seems is very, like, no one is as they seem, right? Like, someone's not telling the truth. I really like the line, someone's been pulling the strings on everything, right? It's very easy to watch the trailer and be like, oh, that's probably the leader. He's orchestrated this thing, you know, he's helped Thunderbolt Ross like get this power or something potentially. But is it more than that? Like, is it potentially Doom is working behind the scenes, like talking to the leader to be like, hey, do this, do that? Like, do you think there's more to that line? Or do we think it's just as simple as it's just the leader? But what does that punishment look like for him? You know, like, what do they just like, we got to find the leader? And how does he, like, you know, keep himself safe? I'm very interested in seeing what this movie will become. I feel like it can go a few different ways now seeing a little bit more here. Yeah,
what other like powerful forces could exist on Earth other than like the American military industrial complex or like some other, you know, intelligentsia organization that the leader's using? I mean, it seems like he's using media, he's using these kind of like governmental manipulations. I go into a theory in the breakdown that you'll see tomorrow that like he may have put Hulk serum in Thaddeus Ross 10 years ago, when he got that triple bypass surgery. And he's just been waiting for the right moment until he got into the White House to weaponize him, you know? Like, he just kind of could see the way things are going to go in the MCU. And maybe there's a lot of other people who have Hulk serum in them. He's just kind of played different cards. It's like whoever gets in the White House, you know?
Very Manchurian Candidate-esque. Yeah, that's very cool. Worth noting, especially as we're going to see a couple other trailers, right? No real score or music in this. I mean, there's like you know, like sparse, like pop effects. A lot of the big Marvel movies have like a fun pop soundtrack, or I mean, not the movies, but the trailers themselves, including the Thunderbolts one we're about to watch, and even the like the very specific tick tick and like or whatever, right? A lot of the sound effects there are meant to evoke like somber thriller kind of
a little, right? Like even just you doing the impressions of it, I was like, oh, kind of like Nolan-esque in a way, right? This kind of like things that like shortcut cues to like create this kind of atmosphere. Yeah.
Now, do you guys think, we have to at least ask, is this lipstick on a turd? Like, based off of the rumors we've been hearing about this movie, did they just bring in a trailer editor to polish this footage in a way that would get us excited to go see the movie? When we see the movie, we're going to be like, I like that trailer better.
You know that they're not doing any of that split screen stuff in general. Like, and there's no reason for them to.
Well,
right?
also,
that is more like
traditionally with Marvel lately, the first trailer is the most stylized, and then maybe the subsequent ones can be a little bit more straightforward, classic trailer beats. This is the opposite. It's a little I was about to say it's a little OG David Ayer Suicide Squad, but that was reversed. The first trailer was so good that they recut the movie to more match the trailer.
The very first trailer for Suicide Squad was a teaser that felt very similar to David Ayer's vision. It was pretty dark. That's like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? And then they cut it with Bohemian Rhapsody by a different trailer house, and they brought in those editors to recut the movie to make it colorful.
So actually it is similar. Yeah, there's rumors about this movie not being great. They obviously needed a lot of reshoots, but that's been like, those rumors have been countered. It's like, all these movies get reshoots. This wasn't any more than normal, or blah, blah, blah. The fact that the entire Giancarlo Esposito character was inserted in reshoots is a little concerning. You would hope that like full characters aren't being invented after principal photography. But who knows? Maybe they just felt like the true vision of the film wasn't communicated in that first trailer, and so they needed to like harden it up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, I think they're probably a little bit aware of, like, some of the, like, kind of, like, rumor bad press that's already coming out about it, too, right? We know Feige, I mean, even if Feige or any executive is probably, like, has someone, like, checking out, what are people saying on Reddit and things like that, you know?
I'm excited for all these things independently. But in terms of a product that seems like it might be more than some of its parts, I don't know if it's there yet. Like, you tell me a movie has Red Hulk in it. You tell me a movie has an aerial dogfight over the corpse of Tiamat. I'm like, this is almost like a Marvel, Lost in the Wilderness Phase 4 and 5 Marvel fans' wish list of answers, you know? And
also, like, characters like the leader. I mean, we just all love Deadpool and Wolverine, which brought back previous studios' characters, and we were like, yay. I mean, cool to see that. I mean, also, Giancarlo Esposito and Tim Blake Nelson, like, all-time great character actor bad guys, too. You know, fun to have them duking it out, and Harrison Ford on there. Obviously, we're all cautiously optimistic here. I'm hopeful I'm hopeful. This might, though, I'll also say, maybe the least successful of the three trailers.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'll get into it when we watch these trailers. I also do feel like that it's when watching it, it's also very hard to know when all these things are happening in the movie, right? And like we could be seeing, this feels impossible to say, but if it's Deadpool and Wolverine and we're just seeing the first 30 minutes, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. I want to hit some questions before we move on to the next some sponsors and the next trailer. HBasso13 asking, do you think we see Sam's family?
Oh, interesting.
Like any of his family from Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, is there some acknowledgement of how the shrimp boat business is going?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I don't think we see any of his Louisiana
the sister
family.
and the nephews, yeah.
And DJ CMO420 on YouTube asking, do you think we will get Silver Samurai fighting for Japan in Brave New World?
That was your theory, right?
Yeah, we're talking a little bit about this, right? Because it's discovered, Japan discovers the Celestial, right? Is that what you're saying?
Or they discover the adamantium in the Celestial.
On the Celestial.
Like. Yeah, so it seems like it's a Japanese refining process, or they also have like a claim, and it seems like Thaddeus Ross is presenting this resource is something that the United States and its allies, including Japan, can share, but that's going to break down into a conflict between the countries. And it's just like, why is Japan so interested in it? Like, it seems like, why would Japan be patrolling an area in the Indian Ocean that is nowhere near? I mean, why would the U.S. do that? It's just like, in our world, Japan doesn't concern itself with these kinds of things.
They're an ally. You know why? Because they can't make the bad guys China because they really need the global box office.
There it is.
Whereas I think the Japanese people are like, we'll be bad guys in the movie and still go see this movie. What do we care? Who knows?
India would, Russia would, but like the Indian box office market's very important to Marvel Studios. You don't want to rattle the cage of Russia now.
No, so. I do like it much like, sometimes the American government or whatever in the MCU can be portrayed bad, but then it's the influence of Hydra within that or whatever, right? It's not like, maybe it's not even the nation of Japan versus the U.S. Maybe it is a group within there. It would actually be great if it is, Silver Samurai or somebody aligned with that.
Yeah. I mean, also, do you think this is what happens? Like, we all get to the moon, we find some kind of crazy metal on the moon, and then someone's like, I'm gonna make the refining process mine, and we get Silver Astronaut?
Yeah, I think it's a good theory. I endorse that theory wholeheartedly.
Silver Astronaut. And what if that astronaut discovers a surfboard? Okay. Real quick, we want to shout out one of our sponsors, Dollar Shave Club. We've got some of their products here under the
desk.
Look at this.
Accumulating.
Yeah, I know. It's it's only filled with one-shot energy chews and various other products. But if you've ever wanted people to greet you commenting on your handsomeness, wouldn't that be nice? And it also could be a little objectifying. I'd like it if people greeted me like, look at that smart guy. Look at that cool guy. He's got it together.
You have to be smart and cool for that.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I'll just sink behind the product here.
Hey, the razors are as sharp as Eric's wit. You need Dollar Shave Club's high quality but never overpriced shave and grooming products. Want a closer shave? Use Shave Butter, a translucent shaving cream alternative that softens bristly whiskers and allows you to see exactly where you're shaving. That's a really brilliant innovation, that it should be clear, right? So you can see, for folks like me that have a very patchy beard when I don't shave, not all my areas have hairs, you know what I mean? It's helpful to see where I might have missed or whatever. Yeah. You can use their Club Series 6-blade razor and a Club Series diamond grip handle for an incredibly close, smooth shave. The diamond patterned grip on the handle will give you super precise control so you can finally nail the Doctor Strange cosplay look you've been going for, baby. But don't take our word for it, or Reed Richards. Not that he doesn't have facial hair, though I guess Pedro Pascal, does he have it in the... I mean, I know in some of his roles he has facial hair, but in the Reed Richards, footage? He's clean shaven?
He has like some facial hair. He's like a mustache.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, whatever. All kinds of anybody that Anthony Mackie's rocking, I think he's got a little bit of a goatee as Captain America, doesn't he? Yeah. It's a fine. You need a nice razor to get those good lines there. Try it for yourself. You can visit their site right now for 20% off, $20 or more, and get your products delivered right to your door. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/breakroom and use code breakroom for 20% off, $20 or more. Remember, however you shave, Dollar Shave Club is here to help you stay handsome.
Woo.
Okay.
Speaking of handsome,
Ooh, there's some handsome people, and we mean that in the gender neutral manner of like all the people in this movie are good looking. Thunderbolts. Let's
go.
Let's
let's
play
look at this.
Thunderbolts
Yeah, the
trailer.
special look.
A special look. Love it.
Ding.
Can't call ourselves that.
Thank God.
The Thunderbolts. It's a cool name.
I do want to know how they arrive on that. You know, like how are they gonna?
How is
get
it
on that?
even introduced?
Yeah.
Well, I do like. We all have our theories on what the asterisk means.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is well known. It stands for a butthole. But,
Yeah.
but I do like what that presents. The asterisk is there because they can't agree on a team name.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
at
like
the very
it's like the
least, yeah.
TBD kind of title or
yeah.
whatever, right? It's like for now or whatever.
Yeah,
I do
work in
like that it's
progress.
on the insistence of the other members of the team that it's
right.
like not official.
Yeah.
That's a really fun trailer. Obviously, you know, Brave New World was not trying to convince us that's a fun movie. It was trying to convince us it's like a serious movie worthy of like, you know, our importance or whatever. And this
Yes.
movie's like, this can be a fun hang. In addition to punchy, kicky, fun stuff.
Yeah. And a little bit more of that, you know, like I'm already seeing people in the chat saying they're like, this is the trailer they love the most out of the three. TLC 236 saying way more hype for this than Cap personally. I think a lot of it just comes to the fact that it does seem more fun. And we know these characters a little bit more, but also they seem like they're genuinely getting along with each other. Whereas like in the Cap 4 trailer, we haven't really even seen him and Joaquin Torres interact too much, you know, and those are the characters we kind of really know.
No, and I mean, the irony of Anthony Mackie has great chemistry
Charisma,
with
yeah.
Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, that too.
We know he's not going to be in
Yeah.
that movie.
And
so,
Sebastian Stan, you know.
And Sebastian Stan, that's right.
But yes, just really quick, Angel Denorio, yes, agree. Can't wait to see more Joaquin Torres as Falcon. Forgot to say that earlier. Yes, can't wait. Back to this.
I really dig that even in this trailer, we get to see multiple characters, but especially Bucky, do cool stuff with their power set.
Yes.
I mean, that we've never seen him in all his appearances do the like punch into the ground to hold onto the thing and then like kind of elbow a flying van. It's, you know, one of the fun parts of superhero movies is like taking a character and it's like, okay, I know what they can do this. What's the most fun thing I can have them do in a fight sequence, right? Whether it's Thor's hammer or, you know, or whatever, like it's clear there's some creative fun being had with these characters. Even like the glimpses we get of Ghost and her fighting style, right? Like clearly she's progressed a lot in the understanding of her power since we saw her last, right? And she can now use it to fight you in cool, funky, frustrating ways. Like that's really neat. Again, more reasons I'm hyped for this.
Yeah, I mean, it even seems like, you know, earlier when this movie was announced and it was like, well, who's going to be even in the cast anymore? Like, is Ghost even in this movie? It's fun to see the actor, like, be so different than their last portrayal, especially in this. We've seen the most of her, I think, at least talking in this trailer. She seems so confident and not this like woman who's just like, oh, I'm phasing.
Save me,
you know?
this hurts.
Yeah, and it seems like she's very in control, very like cool. I'm very excited to see what they do with this.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these characters, I mean, Alexei, Yelena were pretty well established from Black Widow, but yeah, in the case of Ghost, maybe even in the case of Wyatt Russell as John Walker, like they might now find their voice in this movie. In the way that like Avengers felt like doesn't it feel like 2012 Avengers in a way? They're in Avengers Tower, they're fighting on the same block where the Avengers were fighting that bridge that leads to Grand Central Station. That's literally the same block where they are now. Like, there's going to be shots where that plaque that Clint Barton looked at in the Hawkeye series that listed all the Avengers' names and thanked them for their sacrifice, it's like right behind them in all these shots. So, like, they're definitely in the shadow of the Avengers and they're aware of that and they feel it. And I think that's just really fun. Like this trailer, every trailer we've seen for this movie seems to be pretty confident in what the tone of this movie is.
Yes.
And the chemistry between the actors and the cast all seems pretty tight. The one thing that feels weird is what is going on with Taskmaster?
Dude, I know. Taskmaster is the Pete Davidson Suicide Squad of this.
Yes,
like
okay.
in the marketing, gone in the first 15
yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. Also, on that note, you just said, also, like, in watching this trailer, it feels like, oh, this is a group of smartasses and badasses. That's a fun combo.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yes,
that's kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, what do we love? Like, we love a little Tony Stark smartass. We love a little, right? Like, that's part of the soup of the MCU, is both, like, cool characters that can fight and, like, you know, you care about, but also, like, they can deliver a nice quip or they have great chemistry. Okay, so Taskmaster. 0 lines delivered. Also, the least amount of screen time of any of these characters.
Yeah. Does get a title card, though.
Does get a title card. Not in the limo. sequence. The only character not in the limo or chasing the limo. You've pointed out that like in that scene with Val, she's kind of in the back, could have easily been digitally placed in the back.
Yeah.
Does that mean now? I think the one place the other footage, like we see the wand getting flicked out, that appears to be in the same location where they encounter Bob, whatever that lab or holding facility or whatever it is. So do we think like that's their kind of meet cute as a squad, and maybe Taskmaster does not survive that meet cute?
I think she dies in that scene. But my question is like, why, if you're gonna do that, why even put them in the marketing at all? Why not just like hide someone from all the marketing, then we go see the movie and we're like, holy shit, this other MCU character is in this, and then they die 15 minutes after that.
I think what might happen is that like, it's very possible, like, Taskmaster is such an interesting character, like anyone could put on that suit if they're like, or, and then if they've got the innate skill to be good enough to copy abilities, they can do it. We could get multiple people playing Taskmaster throughout this movie, right? We start with the first version, and then like as we go throughout the movie, Val's like, "Hey, I got someone to join the team," and it's someone we know, someone we don't know, but as the Taskmaster moniker, You
U.S. agent Taskmaster, so to speak, right?
Okay.
I hope they change it, just because I feel like Taskmaster has to be in the top 5 most underserved character.
Oh, 1,000%.
in their MCU portrayal. I mean, Tony Master's take on Taskmaster is really freaking cool, and like the Antonia Dreykov version, just like why even make this character Taskmaster? Like it's just such a mismatch from the promise of the trailer for Black Widow and what we got in the movie.
Here's what I'm hopeful. We don't kill a lot of characters in MCU movies, with the exception of Avengers Endgame, right? Like, so I like the idea of somebody getting whacked in this movie. Not everybody surviving this movie. My only then downside would be like, don't make it so obvious who's gonna get killed.
That's exactly. That's why.
And maybe it's not. And maybe we'll lose some more characters by the end of this, right? I almost wish like James Gunn got it right with his Suicide Squad movie, right? Give us 20 characters and 10 of them get killed, and then by the end it's even more than that. But like only so that there's a real sense of danger for these people. I
think that this movie is like, people are wondering, is this what Marvel needs? And even Kevin Feige, I think, is playing our expectations to keep him low, to say, like, he's most excited for First Steps. Like, First Steps is going to be, like, the more world-building MCU movie, in that it makes it very clear what the trajectory of the multiverse saga is. So where does Thunderbolts fit in? Well, Thunderbolts is just going to play the agenda of, can Marvel still make a good movie?
Yes.
And it seems like they're just trying to make a good movie, one that doesn't concern itself with setting up these world-building pillars of bringing in Tiamat and Red Hulk and the leader and bringing back all these other things. It's just going to tell a good story with fun characters and good action.
And doesn't it present the opportunity, if we want to be the most optimistic and we assume as good as these trailers have looked, that the movie's going to be just as good and we're all going to love this, like, I'm sure Marvel is hoping this is a new franchise within itself. And just in the same way that like every 4 years we get an Avengers movie or whatever, right? Like maybe they're hoping like, cool, every 4 or 5 years we get a Thunderbolts movie. Yeah. And not only that, like even more than the Avengers, you can plug and play. Frank Castles is available for this one. Echo's back from maternity leave. Let's get her in the next Thunderbolts or whatever, right? Like you could constantly be, maybe you keep a core of Bucky and Yelena and Red Guardian or whatever, but like there's so many characters in the expanded Marvel universe, and they can take people from Disney Plus series and everything like that. I mean, if we get a world where like every 5 to 6 years we get a Thunderbolts movie alternating with Avengers movies or something like that, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, like it's just like kind of taking the scraps of the other Avengers movies and finding whoever the most fun character combinations can be and just giving them a very specific fun mission to fight, and then maybe not all of them walk away from it. I think Marvel just has such a wide breadth of interesting characters from these Disney Plus shows and these multitude of films. Like, just take some of the more interesting ones and throw them in the mix.
Can't believe Kevin Feige built this team with a box of scraps.
Here we go.
So Neil Cochran asking, how do you...
Evan, yes, my man.
Dude, I mocked him earlier that he'd been sitting on that one-liner. No, man, these are all off the dome. Okay?
Listen,
my man is just wit.
Is cooking.
I'm learning from some comedy greats over here. Every week, getting a little crash course. I don't even have to pay Zach for lessons.
I feel like I am the student in this classroom. I'm grateful to be here.
I just want to
This
know
is
when your
awesome.
name is going to start appearing on screen with an asterisk.
Ooh.
Producer, asterisk.
Wow, hey. Neil Cochran was asking, how do you guys think Brave New World and Thunderbolts will connect to the multiverse? Kind of answered that already. Do you think Brave New World touches on that at all?
No, I don't.
Do you think
either of these
it would have in the original iteration if it was still Kang Dynasty?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think these movies were pitched to be something very different and disconnected, and so Marvel Studios is just kind of committed to both of these projects and sees something in both these projects, but I don't think they're going to be tied in with the multiverse.
For
side.
sure.
Even, do you
I
think
agree.
we get a little post-credit wink at it?
Maybe.
Maybe
There's
I
two
don't
White
need it.
Houses.
I don't need it. Like, if some of these characters can just come back in Secret Wars and fight alongside some of these other characters, that's
What?
all I need, but I don't need a tee-up
No.
for that.
Heard you
course.
needed a team, right? And then they show up or whatever.
I mean, even like a Monica Rambeau waking up to see the Beast kind of a situation.
We'll see.
Yeah, but in that, like, she goes through a multiversal rift, so I don't need to see any multiversal rifts in these
Giancarlo
movies.
Esposito wakes up to Gambit? No.
Like, if we want to establish that there are some X-Men characters in this world, a Silver Samurai, or just adamantium is used by a William Stryker or something like that, just kind of give us some teases for the mutant saga. It could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't need a multiversal
Sam
thing.
goes back to his family's fishing boat. We see his family, and you hear off screen, heard you needed a hand, and it's fucking Channing Tatum's Gambit.
In Louisiana.
Oh God. And also, it's Erlin. Apparently really wants to know, and I think other people in chat. Do you think Star-Lord made them return the arm? Do we think we see Bucky get the arm back? Is it just that he gets a new one built? I mean, I don't. You know.
Oh, that's a good point. You know, yeah, I never thought, like, of course, Wakanda has more resources. Whatever mold they use to make his arm, you think they just pour another one? You think there's random, like, people walking around Wakanda who need a prosthetic, who just have a Bucky arm?
Oh yeah. They're like, you're not the only reason yours, but you got the Hydra serum. You're making it work better than we could. But come on, all of our arms won't break.
Everybody who needs an arm in Wakanda gets the Bucky arm.
Is it rude for Rocket to return a gift that Nebula gave him?
Oh yeah.
If he
That's
brings it
true.
back to this, she's gonna find out, like, wait, you returned it? I got that for you.
I got that. It was a
You said you
gift.
wanted it.
Yeah, and then I think people asking, you know, obviously we have Bob here, highly theorized, or honestly maybe confirmed to be Sentry, but like people asking, could it be Hydra Bob? Why? What is this big reveal they want to do with the character? I feel like based on everything we've kind of like gathered so far, it does feel like let's just see. They want to keep it hidden the limits of his power set, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because if we have this team that's mostly grounded characters facing what could be completely otherworldly threat, almost, you know, otherworldly seeming threat, could be really interesting.
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna try to bring the multiverse into this, that is one
Yes.
dark horse path you could take. I really think it's unlikely, but it is possible that they do something crazy with Bob and Sentry and suggest that there's been a Mandela effect glitch in the matrix of the MCU to where he has been there since the beginning, but we have just been blinded to him and to the Watchtower, and that there is a Watchtower that's at the base infrastructure of Stark Tower, and then we just like haven't seen this history, but it has been there in plain sight, and that they could establish that like through Doctor Strange and Peter Parker screwing with the reality of this world, that somehow we've just all forgotten that Bob has existed since the foundations of the MCU. I just think that feels very different than what this trailer is presenting to us in terms of tone.
I also have to, like, you know, it's hard to know what the plot of the movie or the timeline of the movie, but like, right, if we were to assume, you know, whatever, we get some opening shots, maybe we catch up with some characters, kind of the team kind of first meets up at this facility where they also meet Bob for the first time, right? A lot of the sequences that come after, like the Avengers Tower, maybe the limo, those all happen after that meet cute as the team's kind of trying to scramble and figure out what to do next. Bob is not a part of those scenes either, right? So even though that feels like a friendly meeting with Bob, he's not wishing them harm in any way, but that maybe that goes poorly. That's the reason things blow up or something like that, right? That's how he gets those bullet holes in his hospital gown. And so thus there's maybe some big sequences later where the team is going to re-engage with Bob, maybe against him, maybe with him. We don't know.
I think that these trailers are hiding the true form of Sentry. The past trailer that came out after Comic-Con, right? Or maybe D23. We see the boots of Sentry. We see the belt buckle S. And that's as much as we see. I think they're hiding like the actual form of Sentry from us because we don't know what they're fighting at the base of Avengers Tower. And I assume it is Sentry. I assume Sentry is
He's throwing that van
shit
at them or whatever.
Yeah, they like brought him back, and Val's like, I didn't mean to bring him here, and then he freaks out.
Well, and if he is the main antagonist, obviously Val is kind of a bad doer as well, right? Pulling strings. But if he's kind of the main baddie they have to fight and defeat or whatever, what a fun way to introduce him. As just goofy old Lewis Pullman, hey guys, or whatever, right? This is tense, right? Yeah. Knowing that like, oh, he's this, Superman powerful kind of person that they're going to have to defeat. Like that's a fun, tricky.
Yeah.
Oops! I knocked the rotor off this helicopter. Here, I'll catch it with a subway car. Like this? No, Bob, put it down. I'm trying to help, and he just bats it, and then Bob just put everything down. But I could fix it.
Yeah.
So he hit a home run, unlike the Yankees in 2024 World Series.
Damn. Hey, sports. Get it in there, Evan.
Last really, really quick question. Last one on the Thunderbolts here. SP Bat earlier was asking how connected will this be to Thunderbolts. Feels like this conversation we've had, maybe, or how will Thunderbolts be connected to Brave New World? Be separate. It looks like, it feels like they're going to be grounded characters, but separate takes on these sections of the world.
Feels like they're purposely separating these movies, yeah.
However, Neptune Martian asking something that I think might connect the two of them a little bit. Do you think we will have an answer to Bucky being a senator in Thunderbolts before it comes out in the movie? Do you think we see he does get a little cameo in the beginning, and he's like, "Hey, I can't help you."
They should.
Yeah, he's
they
a voting
should.
member of
It would be
Congress.
weird if he wouldn't, or at least they verbally acknowledge him or something like that.
And I believe he's a congressperson, not a senator. But he,
yes.
But yeah, because I don't know if senators wear that type of pin. He's he's in the lower house, which is where the smelly representatives go.
Yeah.
Like just 2 years for their terms.
That's right. They're constantly running for election.
Yeah.
I mean, God. The Winter Soldier is a sitting member of Congress. I can't wait till they get into that.
Weird.
Eric's going to make 35 videos about like, what was his stance on that farm bill? I can't wait to see the many video essays on like where his politics lie.
Right? How do you? I mean, look, there's going to be some people who are like, wait, the Winter Soldier is on the ballot. Then I am voting for someone who killed a bunch of people for 80 years of history.
And to be fair, there's a long history of veterans of the armed forces. Serving as in all forms of government, right, including Green Berets and all kinds of stuff like that. So I guess, but I mean, man, that was controlled by a foreign entity to be an assassin of dignitaries and stuff is a bridge too far, even for American politics.
And he had to win that seat. I know some people are like, well, what if he was appointed? No, House members of the House are not appointed. Our elections are so quick. They just hold special elections to fill those seats. Senators can be appointed by the governor of that state, but nowhere are members of Congress.
Do you think there's any chance that the reason he's wearing that Congress pin is because he killed a congressperson right by put on his clothes right before he walked into that
It's
meeting?
part of his like apology tour that he did all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Oh,
he's like, they won't recognize me as long as I'm wearing a congressman suit. Quick shout out to Toadies, the authors of that song Possum Kingdom that is prominently featured in that trailer. I mean, Marvel has a great history of using music in their trailers. They do so many good trailers. But also, I like, that's both kind of like a rock and jam, but also those lyrics, like, do you want to die? Yeah. Again, another way of saying without saying, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
I'll say this. I think a good trailer if, like, maybe it has a song in it, maybe it doesn't, but if it's dependent on the song, then you feel like, what's going on here? But like, I think this trailer, you could have removed both this and the Pixies song from the last one, and the tone still would have felt the same.
And they do. They kind of drop the music way down for a lot of the humor bits, right? As well. Yeah. Really.
I'll say the Eternals trailer. Remember the "Don't They Know It's the End of the World"? That felt like they depended on the song, and it's like when they're trying to market the film, if they don't really know what the tone of the movie is and kind of need a song to sell it to an audience, then you know that there might be an issue with the film.
That's a great point.
I never want to think about that Eternals trailer ever again.
Damn, Evan.
I saw it so much.
It haunts you in
I
your
just saw
dreams?
it so
Oh,
much.
okay,
Salma
yeah.
Hayek on the horse. Oh, okay. Anyways,
All right, before we get to our last trailer, What If Season 3, we wanted to thank Via for sponsoring us today. Via makes premium, federally legal cannabis products. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. I enjoyed one of their Dreams gummies last night.
nice.
And I gotta say, it was a nice experience. Hey, the holidays are coming up. There can be stress, there can be travel, all kinds of things going on. All of Via's products are grown indoors in state-of-the-art facilities and harvested at peak THCA levels to emphasize a natural aroma and flavor. They add strains to their selection every week, so there's always something new to check out. Via has THC and THC-free gummies, vapes, topicals, and drops, all of which are crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. Plus, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. This holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 or over, check out the link to Via in our description and use code BREAKROOM to receive 15% off. After you purchase, they ask you where you'd heard about them. Let them know it was us, and that'll help us out as well this holiday season. Enhance your everyday with Via. And, of course, check out nerdriot.shop as well, where you can get this shirt and all kinds of other shirts. Oh, this shirt as well.
This shirt as well. Yeah.
Not this shirt.
And speaking of shirts, we also wanted to shout out True Classic. Speaking of things I did yesterday, I also wore a True Classic. We were just talking about.
Yeah.
Evan and I went to see the same band at different nights
Separately.
of concerts.
We didn't talk about it.
The band played 3 nights in a row. I had no idea until just now that Evan went a different night than I did.
Berg in the chat, he also went a different night. Crazy.
We covered all 3 of the nights. I wore a True Classic t-shirt to this concert. They make great, comfortable, good-looking clothes. They're very affordable. They sell t-shirts, hoodies, and jeans that are perfect additions to your wardrobe. They're super comfy. They're perfect for cool LA nights, and I mean that by Los Angeles or...
Louisiana.
That's right. Any lower Alabama, what sometimes people call the Florida Panhandle. True Classic also has a ton of bundles and multi-pack options. So you can buy, a set of shirts or a bundle of like a top and a bottom that go together well. They make kind of great essentials, right? Like things that you can pair in, with all kinds of elements of your wardrobe. They make the perfect gift for men in your life. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now and unlock big savings during their huge holiday sale. Go to our exclusive link at trueclassic.com/breakroom to save. That's trueclassic.com/breakroom. Support our show and tell them we sent you. End the year with holiday cheer thanks to True Classic. Okay, let's get to this third and final trailer. What If Season 3, which is right around the corner.
1 episode to unwrap every day. Like a little gift. I love that tagline. I really think the person who came with that tagline, they just...
Immediately threw out a window?
No, they loved it. They get it. They got a raise.
Yes!
Dude, so good. So good.
Damn.
I mean, really the perfect way to pull you back in, right?
Yeah.
Like for this show. Yeah.
There's so much to say about this. Is Jessica working on the breakdown of this?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jessica's breakdown. Well, she's working on Thunderbolts. Then she'll get working on this one, and I think it'll come to the channel on Thursday.
This week.
Thursday of this week. Yeah.
And do we have episode titles for all 8 episodes?
We don't have episode titles yet. We won't know until December, but we can start to look at this, and Jessica, I'm sure, will do a more in-depth job of this than we will here, but we know there will be a Gundam episode, right? There will be like a Shang-Chi in the West episode. There's going to be a Bucky Red Guardian episode. There's going to be an Agatha Kingo episode.
Yeah.
That is a musical? Supposedly?
Or
It
has a musical number. Yeah, what I liked about that Agatha episode, especially seeing her like rise above the earth like that. So like I really thought that maybe they're gonna do like this Age of Khonshu type thing. Like what if Agatha became the right fist of Khonshu or whatever terminology you want to use? Because like in the comics, like when Moon Knight fully goes into like, I'm gonna be this avatar or acolyte or whatever. He goes around stealing power. He steals like Iron Fist. He steals Ghost Rider. He steals like Doctor Strange's powers. We see her wearing the necklace that looks like Black Panther wears, like in that one shot. So it does seem like maybe she will be doing a version of that, if that's even the topic at all. I might be totally off base, and I'm fine with that. But it did look really cool to see. Like, it's fun to include Agatha. Obviously, we're hot off the show, and just like even that as being a possibility, we're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it seems like she's gonna have fun with it no matter what. Because Catherine Hahn always has fun.
Yeah,
with it.
and if it feels like appropriation, I think that's the idea. I think she is
Right,
stealing
she's stealing
powers
it
and
from all
things that she
cultures.
should
Yeah.
not have,
Yeah.
and that's kind of her greed. She can't get enough,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of the fun of her character is like seeing her snatch everything she
Yeah,
can.
I do. A couple things I like that you guys noted, like the breadth of characters we see in this. It's a little bit moving on from the OG Avengers, right?
Yes.
Like no Tony
Yeah.
in this, no
Yeah.
Steve, no right? Like a lot of them being replaced by like right?
Shang-Chi, Kate
Shang-Chi,
Bishop, the Eternals, even.
Ironheart, like
Yeah, Ironheart, yeah.
yeah, Agatha, obviously, like that's fun to like. Yeah, now you could tell stories around them. Even Doctor Strange, who's played a huge, arguably maybe like the biggest role in those first 2 seasons. We didn't see him.
Captain Carter too.
Yes, neither of them in this trailer. They might be in the show.
And we get a
but-
little bit of Captain Carter, but just at the end, you know?
Yeah.
So it seems like they might not build the show around her like they did the last 2 seasons almost.
Yeah.
Or especially last season.
To bring in elements of the X-Men feels very exciting.
Yes.
I mean, we saw Storm. They're bringing in Alison Seeley Smith to do Storm's voice, right? The actress from the X-Men animated series in the 90s who came back for X-Men 97. That little glimpse of Instabadner as Apocalypse, it just shows like the playing field of this show is even broader than we realized. And you know, there's different rules in animation the way Marvel Studios approaches it. I think they're more okay with exploring the X-Men as characters. I mean, we saw Spider-Man in What If season 1.
Oh, yeah.
I assume I don't know how much of the zombie worlds we're gonna get, right? Because we're gonna get Marvel Zombies later in the year. In 2025, but I'm just really excited to see what could get established because what's my favorite thing about What If is the rules about the MCU that we learn from just the way each of these episodes start. Like there's always the what if moment that on a linchpin changes whatever this world is, but whatever was established about the world before that moment is technically true for the MCU.
Yes.
And we learned a rule about Hela in season 2 that she was not Frigga's daughter, right? Like that was a whole thing, that she had a separate mother.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know who Hela's mom was. I believe in season 2 you also learned that like T'Chaka had this relationship from World War II and gave them the vibranium for Cap's shield. So we might learn some things about the truth of the X-Men and the mutants for what Marvel's plan may be for the mutant saga beyond all this.
Yeah, little things that they can kind of like set up the foundation for. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and the other thing that stood out to me that obviously they're making it very pronounced in the trailer, right? Like that they're wrapping up the story.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to do more seasons after this of What If. And we don't know, what their logic is. Maybe, it's just kind of canceling the show.
They said they weren't going to do more seasons of Ted Lasso, right? And that's coming back. So.
That's true. Hey, yeah, nobody ever really dies. Yeah, but that's interesting only in that, like, the show, the first 2 seasons, right? Even though there'd be, big variations episodically, some felt more disconnected than others, but like both seasons tried to have this kind of season closing wrap up at the end to kind of establish a little bit of an arc. So it feels like they're trying to say that like maybe there's a series arc that might be wrapped up a little bit, maybe around the Watcher character, maybe some other stuff will come back from previous seasons. If nothing else, like this season might have its own kind of through line arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like we could end with a post-credit scene that just transposes the Watcher into a live-action form? Like the final shot of season 2 was the Watcher showing Captain Carter the Yggdrasil time tree that Loki had created at the end of the Loki series. And like, I feel like we are all headed toward a live-action Jeffrey Wright Watcher who can appear in Secret Wars and Doomsday. And that's what I think we're going to get, like a Mary Poppins, like we were in animated form. Because that's like the biggest weird thing about this show for me is their insistence that these animated forms of the characters look like the live-action MCU. actors, and that has been, I think, a restraining factor on this show. We were joking about it before, and when we watched it, this split screen Power Rangers team up shot of when
just like it's all indiscreet. You can't indiscernible. You can't.
We joked in previous seasons. All the white guys of the MCU look the same. Also, all the white women, like it's really hard, especially when they're not in their normal costume getup, right, or their normal kind of paraphernalia. You're like, okay, I think that's a woman, but I don't know who it is.
If she's wearing headgear and if they're all back in Elizabethan times, you can't tell if it's Wanda or Hela or Hope Van Dyne or Peggy Carter. Like, it's just because like they simplify and flatten certain things about these characters that just kind of make them, unless they clearly have flair or identify themselves, you have no idea who they are. They don't distinguish the characters because they want them to look as much like their live action counterparts. So there has to be a payoff to that, I think, to make it worth it. So if you have Jeffrey Wright come into live action, then it's all worth it.
Is there potential that Jeffrey Wright is the Roger Rabbit of Secret Wars and he stays animated?
He stays
while
animated?
everybody else is live action?
Gosh. I mean, I personally would like it to be just, walk through the portal. And it's just like the way he looks in the French Dispatch. Wes Anderson's, and he's just like a dude.
Or the Batman, or Westworld, or whatever, right? Like, we all picture him like, rumpled college professor, blazer, kind of. If you agree with Eric and you think Jeffrey Wright will show up as live action The Watcher, how big will they make his head?
Or how small will they make his body?
Or how small will they make his body? Right? Because also, like, The Watcher, that species they're tall.
Yeah.
Right? They're way taller than humans.
They need to look like they looked in Guardians Volume 2. Like, they were like 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
They had huge freaking heads. And
disproportionately big, even for a 12-foot tall person.
Yeah.
So these are not even beach ball heads. These are like waterbed heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are like queen size mattress heads. Okay.
They're like the heads, like the shape of the giant balls that you roll down in Scotland. Like, that's the size of the head we're talking about.
So will they do that to Jeffrey Wright?
How many human-sized beds will they need? Will the Watcher need to sleep on Earth?
Oh my God! And will his head just look like at any moment it will just fall off his shoulders?
We want big old lollipop head Jeffrey Wright. We could do it.
Yeah, make it happen. Nick Tarani asking, do you think Peggy will die in What If Season 3? We're talking about conclusions and things like that.
They're bringing her into Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Or, we see her die, but she's like, but you'll see me one more time. And she goes into the night. And then...
Or Jeffrey Wright just says, what if that? It's like very easy to kind of wave your hands over everything that happens in the show.
Mikey Boy 007 asking, which What If characters would you most want to see in live actions? My picks are Merciful Hela, Gamora, Slayer of Thanos, The Watcher, and Cohorty. Feels like they'll probably also bring Cohorty into live action. I think that's definitely in the cards for sure.
And for folks that weren't paying attention to season 2, that was an original character created just for this show. She has since been given a comic book run.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of gone the opposite way of Marvel characters, right? She was such a hit, and I think like a lot of people considered her episode one of the more successful, cool ones of the second season.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, and even if it's not in like Secret Wars or something like that, I think there's like lots of room for that character if they are like a kind of like a little out there to or their power set is a little out there to like incorporate them in other.
She might be a little OP. We'll find out.
Her and Amelia Clark facing off. Gaia.
Let's get Zombie Wanda.
Oh, yeah.
Live action MCU.
Whoa.
We've already seen kind of a form of like corpse Wanda or just like very bloody Wanda, in Multiverse of Madness. But I think you could have a lot of fun with her.
Yeah. Fun.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, there's the last question here that I want to ask about What If. JSU Eagles asking, could we possibly see an animated version of Loki, the god of stories, stepping in to go against the antagonistic Watchers? I think in general, do you think we see God of Stories Loki in this show? I mean, with the direct kind of, link to the tree, it feels like at least maybe a nod, at least another nod or something, right?
Yeah, if they don't plan to use him in Secret Wars, that would be a huge shame.
Yeah.
But if they plan to sideline him, then they need to put him in What If. They need to give him something, some kind of moment. It doesn't need to be. I understand if his story is over, but we just kind of need to know what his status is in the MCU,
Yes. Yeah.
Also, for such a kind of meta character like that, it feels like he would show up, right? If you're doing all this other stuff with the timelines and realities, he would kind of poke his head in at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Or the Watcher is like, I've got to go talk to my friend, and the door opens, and
Or what if like we see him sitting on that throne and he's holding these different strands, and almost like a master puppeteer, he can kind of pull one strand and eradicate someone out of existence to help someone while they're fighting. And then like a noxious weed, another one pops up, and he is just kind of constantly de-weeding to help the Watcher and Captain
And we almost
Carter.
get like a back and forth, like he's doing that while somebody's on the ground needing to fight these characters, and poof, they disappear because Loki's done that. But then something that would actually be a really
or
fun
it like
scene.
reverts them to what they were before that hypothetical altered their timeline.
sniffing the root.
Yeah, so like Hela kind of reverts from having the power set that she has and goes back to a previous form of her timeline, and we can just really see the multiverse in action. Because the problem I have with the multiverse is it's just like someone comes through a portal and they're different. And I think there could be a cooler texture to show the multiverse in action rather than just like, Flash, I'm something different now. Like, what if it takes the form of like the growth of a plant that is like rapidly accelerating through their own timeline.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think
fun.
Yeah, that would be really fun. I
Where
hope we see that.
were you like 8 years ago when this was first being pitched at Marvel?
I was just a little unbudded flower.
Could you, or however many years ago? It would have been nice.
Yeah.
There's still
100%.
time.
There's still time. Well, I mean, 3 very exciting trailers. I think maybe across. I don't want to speak for you guys. Thunderbolts for me.
Yeah,
What
me
if
too.
season 3 a close second as far as like what I'm walking out of these 3 being most excited for. But pleasantly surprised that all 3 were as good as they were in the
Yeah,
trailers.
and I'd be most interested to hear in the chat or in the comments, right? Like, which of these trailers changed your feelings the most? If you were already, I was probably already the most hyped for Thunderbolt, so like that just kind of reaffirmed my feelings. And honestly, I warmed more to this Brave New World trailer than I did the previous one. I'm more excited for that movie. I don't know that the What If trailer changed my feelings or my anticipation level, but it'd be interesting to hear from other folks. Oh man, I was cold on this, but now I'm hot, or vice versa.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel most improved on Brave New World. I think there could be a successful movie in there if they, if they can just piece it together in the right way.
Yeah, because I mean, after all, these trailers, right? They have 2 goals. One is to give new Rockstars something to do, and 2
Number 1 goal
is to get people excited about something, right?
Yeah.
To get people to tune in or to buy a ticket. And so, like, did these accomplish that for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But that's it for us today. Let us know what you thought. Like Zach said in the comments, make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do videos like this live. Busy week for New Rockstars and the Breakroom. Lots of stuff coming out, so stay tuned on both channels as we, the breakdowns come out for each of the trailers, and we talk about Penguin here tomorrow, as well as do some other fun stuff this week. So keep an eye out on our feeds. But otherwise, we'll catch you later. Thank you.
Yay!